Next is 8chili Inc. Harneet Bath, MD, MBA, is the Chief Medical Officer at 8chili. Go ahead, Harneet, all yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
See the screen? Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Harneet Bath. I am helping 8chili. My background, I'm an internist, hospitalist, chief medical officer initially at Sutter Health, then OSF Health in Midwest for 6 years, MBA from Kellogg Northwestern, helped with OSF Ventures, angel investor of my own. I have about 36 companies that I'm an investor in and advise a handful of them. And I love doing work on innovation. Actually, one of the companies afterwards, My Fertility Cloud, I help advise them as well. With 8chili, I've been involved with the team since the beginning, and this is very exciting work. So what is 8chili doing? We're reimagining how you train physicians and surgeons. So if you understand how a healthcare system is training their new providers, we use very old methodologies where you have to go and see and shadow somebody and try to learn from them. But then if you're a surgeon or resident or fellow across a table from your attending, it's very hard to see exactly what they're doing. More than 140 million surgical procedures in a year are not done because a surgeon or the proceduralist does not have expertise or knowledge or skill. So they might have been trained in the procedure before, but they do not perform the surgery because maybe they didn't do it for the last year or 2 years, and now they're not comfortable. Think about that figure, 143 million procedures. That's a lot. Now, we as internists or dentists or somebody, if I have a new patient, I can go and read about it on UpToDate, refresh myself, and I'm comfortable going back into the patient. But if you're a proceduralist and you're not comfortable, it's not going to be easy for you to go and operate on that patient. 3D content is not easy to make and spread out. You need very sophisticated skills, softwares, and then trying to interact with the population is not easy. Apple recently added something called QClone, which will help with static images. So we know the developer community will come out over time. However, there's no way to have dynamic images put into a camera today. What do we provide? So we provide a virtual teleport where you become, and you go and join the surgeon's body. So imagine a surgeon or proceduralist, could be a GI or whoever that does a procedure. They wear a very light headset on their head. It is light that you don't even know that it's there. It has its own light. It captures everything in 3D, including depth and your hand gestures. It is mobile. There's nothing coming out. And it puts everything in 3D, which then loads it up to our cloud. So we know exactly what the surgeon or the proceduralist is doing with their hands, and we get their bird's eye view. There's no other device out there today that has that ability to do that today. On the back end, once the data is uploaded in our cloud, we have AI-powered content management system. So on the screen, you see we have annotated C2 and C3. So if the surgeon does the marking at the beginning of the procedure, our AI will carry that through the whole procedure itself. So you know exactly, if I'm the resident or the surgeon learning, I know exactly what each anatomical feature is. And we also provide auto editing, where afterwards the surgeon can actually go and explain what is being done and how, so that anybody who is listening or looking at it knows exactly what's going on. Multi-language, and then we do all the annotations. This is how you relive the experience. And let me see if I can show you a video while we're talking. So This is the real-time illustration of how our stuff looks like. So to give a little background, the hands underneath are the hands of the surgeon. And then above that, what you're seeing are the hands of the trainee, resident, fellow surgeon, co-surgeon, or a fellow. So I, as the learner, can put my hands on how the surgeon's hands were when he was operating and know exactly how he was performing the procedure and learn the hand gestures, as well as learn how the uh, equipment is used. How am I cleaning it, prepping it, putting anesthesia in, cutting the surface layers, how am I doing my suctioning, how am I holding my forceps, etc. And I am basically replicating exactly what the surgeon was doing from his bird's eye view. And on top of that, as a rating system, if you're an academic center, I can even down the road will have ability to rate the resident or the fellow on how well did they perform on matching up with the surgeon's hands movement. So you get the idea. So going back, you might see and hear a lot of companies out there looking to do training or videos and AR, VR, but we are the only ones in the space where we can have user-generated content. So imagine TikTok, but for medical procedures. And any surgeon, any proceduralist, any physician, if you're a primary care physician who's doing a skin biopsy in the office or a knee procedure, you could put it out there and allow people, other physicians to learn from it. And plus we're 3D interactive, which makes it also exciting. The first time I put this headset on, I told Arvind, who's the founder, I said, I want to be a neurosurgeon. I wish I could go back to school, but it's too late for that. Let's talk about the market. We expect the market to be around 60 billion by 2027, just in the VR space. And if you look at the big pie, majority of that, 35% of that is going to come from VR training. The hardware and other stuff will actually have less proportions out there. So the total addressable market is a few $1 billion right away. Let's talk about the team. So Arvind, I just mentioned, he's a techie by heart, awesome at product development. He's been with TCS before. Amit, who leads the board, he's a serial entrepreneur, has multiple companies and exits already. Mo, who's on the call, he's a technologist, awesome guy, and he's done work for Comcast, bringing millions of dollars in revenue. I'm right there, and again, internist, I've been in CMO roles before. Tony is a pediatric neurosurgeon helping us develop it. Levi is a great advisor and leads some tech startups in Israel, etc. So wonderful team helping build a product. Now, the surgical training and collaboration, if I talk to you about on the roadmap, is just the beginning or the tip of the iceberg. That's where we are this year and doing today. On the back end, we're already building our ability to do surgical navigation, which means that imagine having AR, VR visualization for a neuro procedure or a cardiac procedure or a spine procedure in the OR. Now, on top of that, imagine remote surgical collaboration. So recently we had a famous golfer who got hurt in LA, had a bunch of broken fractures. And imagine the specialist sits at Brigham and Women's in Harvard, and now that specialist has to go and fly into LA to help with the procedure. But with our technology, we could have both surgeons wear the headset. The surgeon at Brigham can see exactly what is being done in LA and guide them in live real-time format. And 5G will just enable us even further. And next step after that, we'll have intra-op assisted intelligence, where we will actually tell the surgeon when they're in the procedure that, okay, if you choose this route, these are the potential risks or the benefits or the outcomes, because we'll have data pulled in our AI system. Our engagements, we just launched our first pilot with West Virginia University. It's an academic center on the East Coast. We started with one department. They loved it so much. They came back and said, we want you to work with all our departments. MSU in Michigan, we're starting in the neuro and cardio department, just getting approval through IRB at this time. And then also with Advent Health, we're doing surgical robotic procedures. Why are we here? So we're just starting our Series A round. We're looking to raise 10 million. We just finished our seed round with 1 mil raise. This 10 mil gets us to the next step, which is sales and biz dev, ramp up the team and R&D, etc. What will the position look like for us down the road? In the near term, if 8chili can capture just 1% of the total market for institutes, we're talking 40 million in revenue a year. Around midterm, at 10%, we're talking 400, and then in a few billion in the long run. We've been getting a lot of exposure, including SG Grind, Startup Grind, MedTech Innovator, Digital Pad, Plug and Play, etc. We were just accepted at Plug and Play in Cleveland in their accelerator, as well as MedTech. These are the financial projections. We should be profitable EBITDA in the next 3 years. That's all I had.
Thank you. Thank you, Harneet. All right, let's take some questions from the audience. Divya Chander, you have a long statement there. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask?
Oh, this was not in response to this particular.
Oh, it's not, okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah,
problem.
sorry. I think a lot of people are introducing themselves in the chat. I do know Shafi Ahmad, who does, medical realities, and
Yeah.
There are
actually,
I wonder if there are quite a few competitors in the space. We see them in exponential medicine every year. Some that were not represented, perhaps, on your competitor.
I saw somebody wanted the contact info. I'm putting it out there. You can also reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you with the right appropriate person.
By the way, Shafi Ahmed is one of our speakers coming to the World Congress, so you'll be able to listen to him also.
Well, he's a really good friend of mine. So.
Yes, that's awesome.
I know. It's very interesting how technology is developing. Yes, it is a fascinating technology. Any other questions from the audience? Harneet, I have a question. How do you make money? Do you sell it to the hospitals and institutes?
Correct. So we use it. Our revenue model is based on a little bit startup and then per user. So if you have 10 residents in neurosurgery department, we'll charge a few bucks per month per resident. It's very simplified, very easy to use. Now let's look at our competition. I know as a CMO where we looked at, surgical theater, for example. Surgical theater, you're looking at $1 million installation with a huge room where you have to have their own servers and their own infrastructure, and using it is not easy. Plus, you have to have different software for each procedure because they have to replicate it. What did 8chili do? Take out all the hardware, just the headset, a laptop on the back, directly to cloud. We can do any procedure, any specialty. We're agnostic. Same with the AR, VR headsets. It is so easy and convenient to use. That's amazing. And why 8chili? We just said we just need to spice up the surgical world. So.
And there's a question about 5G.
How to use 5G. So even in 4G, we can do very live co-surgeries today. However, when you go to 5G, the latency is going to decrease even further. So I could have somebody sitting here and maybe, an army doc operating in Germany or Iraq, and we could have a surgeon here telling them Okay, now go left. Okay, here's how you're suctioning. Oh, avoid that nerve, So we could have the remote surgeries done with no latency with the 5G. And how we're differentiated, we have multiple patents. So you cannot just take remote surgeries like this and put it on the cloud. We own that space.
Good. Let's see, what are the other questions here? So were there any technical challenges? Srinivas asks if any technical issues between the procedure.
So for the training, so when I'm the operating surgeon, I put it on and it's uploading on the cloud. And then after I'm done with the procedure, I can go and edit the things where I was talking to the nurse and we were sharing jokes. I can clean out all the stuff I don't need to share. Plus a 2-hour procedure can be condensed into 10 minutes. So you're just showing the key steps and then I can annotate and guide the audience through it. So it's easy to clean up. That's why I mentioned the auto editor.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a great question where they talked about fully blown remote surgeries. Yes, that's the end goal here, that once we have with the AI and ML in the background, we will be able to do totally remote surgeries, or what we call autonomous surgeries. So yes.
Great.
What surgical specialties do you cover right now?
So we are agnostic to specialties, where anybody who's doing a procedure where they think there's somebody who's trying to learn it, we're open to that. So it could be somebody putting a chest tube, skin biopsy, thoracentesis, whatever, any procedure that needs the hand-eye coordination from the operator can be used.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Harneet.